These are Hugo beds, which is a whole methodology of growing vegetables with a whole lot of tree limbs buried 2 to 3 feet into the ground that act as a place for storing moisture and helping bacteria to grow. Oh. Outhouse. We get most of the green and brown waste that comes in off the campus from the grounds crew, which we then turn into soil. There's all the coffee grounds from the Banyan Tree Cafe, great source of nitrogen, and it all gets mixed in. So this compost bin would have started out at a cubic meter, and by the time it's finished, that whole cubic meter would come down to about that big, and that is the compost ready to be made into soil. This is aquaponics. So here we're using our fish to grow vegetables. And we've got a lot of different forms of aquaponics, just as examples of what you could do in your backyard, what you could do with very little resources. Most of what we've got here is designed to be made from scratch. Obviously these are purpose formed trays for aquaponics, but generally most of what we do is using whatever we can find. So this week there's not a lot to harvest. We've got the basil is going. This is the main pond for the fish. There's some very healthy tilapia in here, ready to be eaten. It's also an example of what you could possibly do at a commercial level. So realistically, 4 times this main area of these 4 rafts, A, B, C and D, could be managed just by a couple of people quite easily. And the amount of work that we put in is only a few hours every day, and it keeps us in the rotation for having everything that we need. So again, here's some different ideas of how you could do aquaponics. Here's a simple IBC tote, 1 cubic meter of water, feeding about 3 cubic meters of water on a raft system. So we have in here most likely about 12 to 20 kilos of fish at the moment, supporting 11 square meters of grow area. A lot of babies that we've bred ourselves. That's one of the good things about tilapia. In these conditions, tilapia are self-breeding. In fact, we actually have a problem with stopping them from breeding. Once the water temperature gets above about 23 degrees Celsius, they will naturally start breeding. We try and keep all the males in one tank and all the females in another tank, but we're never that successful in totally sexing them. So we end up with a problem with little tilapia going through the pumps, going through the settling tanks, getting all the way to the top, getting through 2 more filters at the top, and they end up in our raft beds eating our plants. So every so often we have to do a tilapia rodeo, get into these rafts and get the baby tilapia out. Give you an idea of what things look like. Whoop. So here's what an average raft will look like growing lettuce. The cycle for the lettuce is about 6 weeks, 5 to 6 weeks, depending upon how they're growing. Now looking at these ones, we're only going to do a couple of rafts today. There's not a lot to do. And this is our nursery where we put our babies after they've germinated. Someone else has been here and cleaned out our bins, which is nice. So these ones over here will have been planted last Thursday. So what's that? 5 days. So this is 5 days old. This Thursday these will go down into that nursery, and all of those will go out and replace whatever we harvest today. So you see there's just a constant cycle week after week. Thanks for walking with me to the farm. Bye.